Hi, garden rebels. What? You're hearing from me again? Yes. Why? Because it's an emergency. Sort of. We've got some cold weather coming up this week, maybe down to the 20s. Brr. Anyways, sometimes for gardeners, that causes a bit of worry. So, as a public service, I'd like to go over a few things to not worry about and to worry about during this week. Plants that have been in your garden all winter long and evergreens, even though they've pushed on some new growth while we were sleeping. Not to worry. Deciduous plants that are just starting to leaf out, no worries. Oh, this is going to be so cool. So bright yellow, I can't wait. If you have evergreen, leafy perennials, not to worry, they'll be okay. Heuchera forever red. Conifers, tough conifers that are the color of that bluish winter. Gosh, it almost matches the sky. Not to worry. Or even an annual like Dusty Miller that matches that wintry look. Not to worry. Pansies or violas that you might have just planted in a lamb, not to worry about. One thing, by the way, on the pansies, not to forget to deadhead old blooms. Pluck off those old blooms, it'll make them bloom quicker. I meant to say rebloom quicker. Hellebores, no worries. Fake crazy chickens, no worries. Emerging bulbs of any kind, the hyacinths, tulips, daffodils, crocus, all of those, no worries. Oh, I smell the fragrance already. Primroses, on the other hand, while the cold won't kill them at all, it does a lot of damage to the blooms. So cover these guys to protect the blooms. It could be just a thin sheet of newspaper. What's newspaper? Or a light towel, or something, a light fabric even, just over the top of it will protect the blooms. Or just under an eave or a porch. It goes for the Acaulis primrose as well as the Malcoides, so protect these. If you've gotten any of our fresh vegetables, that's another one that we have to protect, and it can be just a nice thin layer over the top to protect that tender foliage. Oh, lettuces. Oh, those glorious nasturtiums with the all those spring blooms, protect those. Sugar snap peas, protect those. Sweet peas, all those sweet fragrant blooms coming up for the first of spring, protect those. Onions, protect those. Fresh spinach, yeah, protect those too. Rosemary or lavenders, no worries. If you have any cilantro or parsley, protect those. Gunnera, those huge leafy plants, if you have those, and if you have it in your garden, make sure you cover that crown. Look at this gunnera, it's so cute and small. It's like a baby dinosaur. If you love hummingbirds and you got one of these Kupfias, because the hummingbirds love those Kupfias, you got one of these, protect this. Definitely protect this. This is Kupfia vermillionaire. Look at those blooms. Or if you are trying to get an early start on these salvias, this is Salvia rockin' fuchsia. Those long blooms, protect those as well. And if you got those cute little double bloomed primulas, the primrose, ever so slightly fragrant as well, protect those blooms. The plants can do okay, but the blooms just need a little bit of protection. If you got these scented geraniums, these are the geraniums that give off fragrance even in their foliage. This is citronella. This is old-fashioned rose. I love scented geraniums. The intricate foliage and then just that fragrance. Protect those. And since we're talking about hummingbird feeders, by the way, a tip during this next week for your hummingbird feeders is instead of mixing 1 cup of sugar to 4 cups of water, try doing 1 cup of sugar to 3 cups of water. A lot harder to freeze. Was kind of fun. One last thing is fountains, by the way. If you have a large, grand fountain like this, no worries. It won't freeze all of that water solid. And that's the worry. Smaller fountains, worry a little bit, worry. Bigger fountains, not so much. One option too, by the way, if you do have a smaller fountain, is to run it through the night. That way it keeps the water flowing. Flowing water is a lot harder to freeze than straight non-flowing water. Anyway, guys, that's the tips and tricks for this week. Stay warm and always live your passion. Don't forget to cover your toes.